In this session, I'm going to go through some common objections that you probably hear. I've certainly heard a lot of them, and suggest ways of dealing with them. So first of all, remember earlier in our session, Maria talked about the SCARF model of those emotional triggers that happen. I want to take you back to the SCARF model and talk about those triggers within the context of objections. So status. Often, people where status is important to them, they want to look good. When they are objecting to an idea, it may be that they don't want to look bad. So one of the flip side, as you're presenting an idea to get around it, is to ask, what about this idea would make us look good? The second one is certainty, wanting to be sure about things. And often people will push back because they're just not sure. They want to be certain that whatever you're proposing is really going to work. And the best way to address it is that there is risk. There are some uncertainties in this. There's no question about it. So how about we get together and look at what would make this idea feel less risky? What other information do we need? Who might we be able to talk to learn from this so it doesn't feel so risky? When you do that with a person who really craves certainty, they, instead of being like this, they sort of lean in, and now they're going to engage in the conversation a little bit more. Autonomy, where people really want to, don't want to be, they want to be independent. So they may say, oh, if we do this idea, are we going to have to get them involved? Are we going to have to go get those marketing people? God forbid, are we going to have legal involved? They just don't want that. So a question would be, with your team, would be, what can we do not to have to get dragged into so many corporate politics and bureaucracy? And now the person is like, okay, now if we can think this through, that might be interesting. Relatedness, a real underlying some issues is, I'm not sure we can work with them. I'm not sure we want to work with them. And the question might be is, if we did this, we'd be working with this other team. What could we do to get to know and like and trust them, right? So you're acknowledging the reality and you're looking for ways to make it less of a threat. And the last one is fairness. Our favorite one is, it's not fair that if we do this, they would get all the credit again. And of course, as we say, and you heard in our last segment, that when someone steals your idea, that's a success. However, for some people,